on the troll.
Hello, it's been ages since we been here. Right, well, part of it has to do with me and Bafut. Now Vela was tired. Yeah, well, I just disappeared. And then on top of that, I had my work got hectic because I've started a new thing. I'm not going to say a lot, but yeah. So I needed to focus on that. Yeah. So if you were looking for an explanation, here is an explanation. But I'm hoping, Guti, we are better rested, be it recharged.
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah. Let us see how it goes now. We are sorry for just disappearing on you. Some of you have been sending WhatsApps. And we see them. Not that we don't see them, we see them. Just that nje okwamanje bafethu cha izinto bezingahambi kahle. You know, you need to do all that you can do for la khona where you are actually paid. So we are back. However, let's hope everything is fine with you. And thank you for those like Boshao, people who kept their membership. Siyabonga kakhulu. We appreciate you. People like that, we really appreciate you, and we are happy we are here. We are seeing a lot of things that are happening. We might have been off, but we definitely are seeing what is happening on every platform. So we did not come through yesterday because again, for me, work was hectic. So I needed to deliver something today. Yeah, so today I would like to believe that I'm free. And ke manje sengize ngakhohlwa even how you run these things and it's been ages. It's been ages.
Well, with me, I've been struggling with doing content that deviates away from Senzo's case, Mr. Anonymous. Maybe you can inspire me. It's so hard for me to deviate away from everything and just cover other stories. I just feel like I will forever be comparing everything to Senzo's case.
Well, let us do what we can for now.
I'm overwhelmed
because
with everything happening in the country. It's too much. Everything is just too much. And it can get you to be depressed sometimes when you think about, these things, you feel powerless, like you can't do anything about them but talk about them. And it gets depressing. It gets really depressing, you guys, I won't lie. So sometimes you need to take a bit of a break and reflect and be like, what now? You know? So that's the phase that I'm also going through, despite everything else happening in my personal life. I'm just thinking, oh my God. Every day, there's a clip that says, this country's like a movie. Every day you are shocked by something new. So what ends up happening is you'll concentrate on this story and then something else happens. You know? As you are busy dissecting this particular story, something else happens. So it's a lot. It's a lot. Personally, I can't keep up. But guys, welcome back. We're going to talk about what happened yesterday at court. Of course, yesterday we couldn't be live because we had other things that we needed to attend to. But today we are here. And I have a lot to get off my chest about what happened yesterday, Mr. Anonymous.
Okay.
So after 2 months of the Senzo Meyiwa trial, supposedly having to resume yesterday, Advocate Charles Mnisi was expected to cross-examine lead investigator Brigadier Bongani Gininda on behalf of accused number 1. Then Mnisi took over, as we all know, accused number 1's defense after his lawyer Uthulani Mgomezulu passed away last year in December. It was a very sad time, But then life had to go on. And I remember how skeptical Mnisi was initially when he was announced that he will be proceeding, or that he has been selected by accused number one, umuzi sbiya, to represent him moving forward. Do you remember that hesitation that he demonstrated, Advocate Nisi, initially?
I remember.
He said he needed to talk with accused number one and all of that. It was a whole process, you know. And we also had a discussion about how we felt it was maybe better for him to start off with a new lawyer. And then we heard the legal experts saying, no, but if he starts with a new lawyer, that lawyer may need about more than 6 months, if not a year, to go through the transcripts, because they are a lot. It's been 2 years of court. So you can imagine the amount of time that a new lawyer would need to go through the transcripts.
Yeah.
So the legal representatives went to Judge Ratam Khwatleng's chambers apparently in the morning at the time, because there was a question that was lingering in the air of whether Advocate Mnisi was done preparing accused number one, muzi sbiya's defense. And Advocate Mshololo was not in court. However, she asked Advocate Zitulele Nxumalo to stand in for her. Advocate Nxumalo said that Advocate Mshololo indicated that she won't be available for the rest of the week. So already Advocate Mshololo has other arrangements, and it was said that this week she was not going to show up. So accused number 5, Fisoguhle Ntuli, confirmed the arrangement, and the judge honestly was not happy about this. He expressed his concern about this, and he said that the double booking is not allowed. He said that the bar rules are being bent. Bar rules are supposed to be strict on this. If you take a brief, you can't delegate it to someone or some other person. But here, because the defense is the same, just bends over backwards, and he thinks this is being abused. And he asked Nxumalo what the rules said about double booking, and Nxumalo said that it isn't allowed. So what are lawyers supposed to do, guys? I feel like in this country you can't rely on one case.
No, you can't.
The economy, the economy is quite tough. Like, can you imagine just relying on one case?
No. You cannot rely on one case. It's pretty much obvious. And my lawyers at some point, since I listened to this guy Ike explaining these things and how these people actually gatekeep some of these judges for these lawyers to actually make money, and when they feel that they are making money, then they start making remarks and reminding them certain things. I just feel that it is part of the reasons that people like this guy, I could speak the way they were speaking. I mean, at the end of the day, they are there to make money. They want to make money. And as much as they are trying to actually assist their clients, these lawyers, most of them, they are depressed. You know, and I asked myself, why are they consuming? Like most of these lawyers, you find them too deep into consumption of diluted waters. And some of them, one might argue, you'd find them living beyond their means. And they need money at the end of the day, because their job is no guarantee that this month you're going to be getting a lot of briefing, or if you get that briefing, you need to charge also for 3 months, in a sense. So it is difficult for them to focus on one case that is paid on a limited budget by some people who decide how much these people should get. I don't expect them to sit and wait for that. It is just wrong for me.
And you know, the impression from way back, when you're a lawyer, it is expected that you have money, right? That you don't lack and you don't, but you look at especially criminal lawyers, something is not right there.
The most poorest lawyers that you can ever find.
Something
Purest
is not right.
lawyers that you can ever find. They are so poor for me. Those ones, most of them that I've seen, they struggle. They really struggle.
Something's not right. So you can imagine. So hearing now a judge lambasting someone for taking extra work when they've literally not been working for 2 months.
But these laws also that allow this judge to actually play this game now, they must. To be honest, I'm quite fed up with South African law. When you look at it and how it is, it is just not favorable for a person of color.
Yes.
And there's no other way around it. Whether you are part of the system working on it or whether you are being represented by the same system, it is just not something that gives you peace as it's supposed to. It is just there to be exploited, and you'd see that through other parties that are really using it. Also, you find parties that if they lose politically, they go to that's when you see Utai Norman. There's something wrong with this because they know they are going to be favored on the other side. They are even confident in most of the things. They are very confident that the court will rule against 1, 2, 3. It seems, and that is our downfall because we were supposed to change these things. I don't know why we still keep them. We can cry all we can, and then you still find people who defend it.
Yes, those who benefit from it defend it. Yes, and also. From the very same video that Mr. Anonymous was referencing, I heard Braig talking about how judges would look at interns eating maybe an expensive meal for lunch, and they'd be like, "Hi, that is too expensive." In my time, in his time, he's referring to the time pre-1994. I could not afford this as an intern. You are getting too big for your boots. So reduce the money. I'm like, what? That really shocked me. That surprised me that a fellow person of color would want to do that to a young aspirant.
But it's in our nature. I mean,
why are we like this?
There are a lot of things that I see. Even now, just to deviate from what we are currently talking about, it's in our nature. Take, for example, what is currently happening with this doctor, former or fake doctor.
Oh, you mean Matthew?
Matthew.
Mateo.
Yeah.
He'd found himself a side hustle there.
Yeah, and how people are adamant that they want to see him go down.
Yeah, they thought he was scamming again.
It is in our nature.
Called that company to ask and inquire whether he was working there or not. Of course, he wasn't working there, but still, the effort that was taken to make sure that it's kind of scary to me.
Yeah, we have a problem.
Kind of scary to me that you invest your airtime and your resources and your time to inquire whether a fictional character on the internet has a job or not. Wow, guys. Wow, that really that shocked me, Mr. Anonymous. I don't know what to say. Like I'm gobsmacked. I'm like, okay, you should have figured out by now, after that doctor incident, that that's what he does. He likes to troll. He likes to but then to take it that far.
Thank you, Lola, for renewing your membership. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lola. So the last date of the postponement was on the 2nd of February 2024, and he said to the judge that he had done the best that he could. He even said that his life came to a standstill. You know, he said he had to concentrate, take all the time to do everything in relation to this case. And he said, on a very light note, Mnisi said that he was supposed to run the Two Oceans last Saturday, and he had to forfeit his registration because he had no other option but to concentrate on this case. And he said despite his efforts, he could not go through 40,000 pages. But then the judge said that you took the brief, you knew what it entailed. I felt like this is just unfair. Just because he took the brief, then it means that he must not be given like a reasonable time to go through that amount of a record. That part to me, I don't understand. Him taking the brief now warrants for him to put himself under a lot of pressure and just go through. I mean, he can simply lie and say, yes, I've went through the records without having gone through it and absolutely relying on what he can recall. But so much has happened on this case that it would be a bad idea to take that gamble for him, especially Advocate Mnisi, because he's so thorough, he pays attention to detail. So can you imagine, like, to me, it didn't make sense. But I know there's a lot of people who've had a lot of things to say regarding this. So Mnisi said that on the same breath, the court would also be aware that it is the state, and they can confirm with the state that the amount of work that he needed to cover, it was almost more than 40,000 pages. And the judge said that he read the record. Okay? He said he went through the entire record and even gave us an amount of 60,000 pages.
He must represent Dantanzi if he understands what needs to happen, because it seems as if it's all about. I mean, we're talking about someone who's only working this case.
Who's retired, sitting only.
His job
on this
is just
case.
to focus on this case,
Yes.
and you think that you are competing with someone who is working, someone who is not only looking at this, and you are also competing with someone who needs to create a way of defense for after reading.
Yes.
You are just talking that you read. Anyone can read through.
His reading
Anyone can
different
read through.
from his reading. When he reads, he just reads, But with Advocate reading, it's different because he has to analyze. He has to come up with cross-examination questions. He has to look for loopholes where he feels that there are loopholes. He has to do all of those things. It's not just reading for him. It's different. I know there are a lot of experts these days, and they've spoken about how he needed 2 months. 2 months was actually a lot. I'm laughing because I can barely go through a textbook, and a textbook is how much? Like 4,000 pages, right?
Yeah,
like
at most
4,000 pages. I've never went through an entire textbook. And then here it's now Mnisi expected to have gone through 40,000 pages in 2 months. But yeah, well, the judge said you can even phone my wife and my children. I've read it. He's read the entire case of 60,000 pages. He even has his wife and children as witnesses to him doing that. And Mnisi said, but with me, I'm not trying to argue with the court. With me, it's not only reading and analyzing, comparing and contrasting. It's also formulating an argument in respect of the forthcoming cross-examination. And when he reads, there are numerous instances where an evidence would be led, and then he'll be referred to the reference of a particular date, and then he'll need to go back to that record and be referred to exhibits in the record. Now, that took a very long time, and the judge now asked him, you are saying that you are not ready? And Mnisi said he's not ready to proceed. Otherwise, if he had to come here and tell the court that he was ready, it will be an injustice to Mr. Sbiya. He said, I would therefore request a further postponement, and I will continue to prepare, and then when that date comes, I will indicate if I'm ready or not. I will be very cautious this time because last time I remember I told the court that I'll be ready today, and that simply meant that I underestimated the amount of work and the amount of documents I had to be content with. But the work that I need to cover was too voluminous, my lord, and reading each and every day, it's very tedious. Now, he's being very honest. He's being very honest, in my opinion. Maybe too honest. And sometimes that type of honesty, other people choose to interpret it as laziness. Other people choose to interpret it as him not delivering to a promised timeline. You know, there's certain texts that you promise yourself. I go through this a lot because, Mr. Anonymous, when we create content here, a lot of it is read, is stuff that has to be read.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I go through this a lot, and even I'm guilty of this, where I'll promise our family that, you know, I will compile so and so. And then as I'm reading, I'm discovering other things, you know, and then that need more research, because I can't just come here and speak and lie to you guys. I cannot do it. I need to verify. I need to go and make sure that everything, you know, crosses the dots and the T's before I come here and just speak. You understand what I'm saying? So with a lawyer, can you imagine? Can you imagine with a lawyer how it works?
Works the same way.
It's even worse because this is a person's life on the line. I can simply just get away with twisting facts here and there. You understand? But with a lawyer, he can't do that.
I don't understand. The most formal place is a corporate place. Even there, let me make an example.
Yeah.
So yesterday, I was expected on my presentation to have finished doing a certain report, right? But I was not done.
Okay.
So that meeting, I went in, I just talked about the numbers that were there, and then I told them on the other side, okay, I'm not done with this. I need to finish it. I need more time. Then they gave me a month, because at the end of the day, it's all about how you report back. You know, if you can come back and report and say, okay, I'm not done here, you know, it's okay. It's not like you have killed someone.
Yeah.
What matters is that you are doing something.
Yes.
Then you hear someone then saying, at least it could have started and said, okay, I am not done, but I will continue. This is someone's life. You can't do that nonsense.
No, you can't.
We are not talking about a car that is not finished here, where you can continue testing certain things, and then no, this is someone's life. Everything must go together. You know, and you expect mnisi to go and gamble with someone's life. That's kind of stupidity.
Yes, that's what like people are now insinuating that he must do.
No,
he must just lie and say, I'm
the
done.
element of ubuntu nje is thrown out through that process of expecting people to forge on even if they are not 100% ready. This is someone's life. I have seen Omotoso's case taking 8 flipping years for NPA that was not even ready to work. You know, no one's talking about that.
Didn't even try.
No one is talking about that. No journalist is talking about that. You know, and I see
They're
many
not
journalists
even analyzing the decorum of that prosecution for the entire 8 years.
Because they have no issues. The journalists that we are subjected to these days, they are just commentators. They are more like us, maybe better. We are better than them because we are at least informed. As much as they are in that court, we are more informed than them. You know, you just have to ask yourself, Uguti, how can you expect a person like that to actually do proper journalism and do a well-researched journalism and have proper questions to ask? You know, someone who just speaks nonsense.
They are the ones who should have seen
Your job is
that the case of Omotoso was not going anywhere, right? And inform the public, but no.
No.
On the day the judgment is read out, they are all shocked like the rest of us. Kangwenzagalani. If you are following a case, you are able to see where it's going to go and do proper stuff, and tell people what's going on.
So I don't blame Nis in a nutshell. I don't blame Nisi on saying I'm not ready. I prefer people like I've seen people who just wing it. There are people, who are not born with that thing of saying I'm not done. So they just wing it. And then when they wing it and it goes wrong, their life crumbles. When they lose the case, then they indulge in alcohol because they wanted to impress people.
Yes, that don't care about them. That don't care about their mental well-being, the state of their family. Can you imagine all these months being locked up in a study? No one cares about that. So
there is an issue that needs to be addressed. You are expecting to go through this case so quickly because you know that even if you went through this case so quickly, and the judge is among the people that were pushing for one defense to take this case. Yes. It's among those people that were pushing. Yeah. Because they wanted to do whatever, the God knows what. They didn't want someone coming from outside, in my opinion. Those are the things that we have to look at.
Yes.
Now that means, if you listen to how Mngomezulu was putting his defense, and then you are entering those shoes as Mnisi, and you compare how Mnisi put his defense when it comes to accused number 3, and then you get to realize there was a lot of promise that was made in terms of as far as Mngomezulu was concerned. Many people were going to be called.
Yes.
And perhaps Mngomezulu had created that connection with those people.
Yes.
Now he's gone. Without noticing all those people. And I would assume muzi sbiya still wants to go through that defense the same way, because any change or deviation, there are many TikTokers here who are waiting to say, that today there was a case of Senzo. We saw muzi sbiya changing his story, as we have been saying. There are many TikTokers who are waiting to do that, right?
Yes, definitely.
So Nisi must enter into Mngomezulu's shoes. Different brains, different way of defense.
Yes.
But he must still produce what is closer to what Mngomezulu was going to produce for this accused. And with 40,000 pages or 60,000 pages,
And then on top of that, you still have to follow the line of defense of Mngomezulu for accused number 1, because I'm sure that's what he wants.
So I don't understand how people are thinking.
Nam, I don't understand. I just found it totally unreasonable. I even saw the headlines: judge lambasted defense attorney for not being able to go through the case on time or something like that. I'm like,
he's happy then. He's happy. And gloating about the JP that, for God's sake, we really do not care about.
I didn't expect Mnisi to go through the case that happened for the last 2 years in 2 months. I'm not shocked at what was happening on Monday. It didn't shock me because I had to put myself in his shoes. And knowing the type of person I am, there's no way I would have went through 40,000 pages. So imagine the pressure of going through those pages and the pressure of having another person that you have to represent, the pressure of going through a line of defense of another lawyer. And I also feel like it's unreasonable as well to compare him. People are saying, especially the ones who hate the defense, they are saying Mngome Zulu came into the case and just ran with it. This is not Mngome Zulu, right? It's a bit unfair. And Mngome Zulu had that memory. That memory, that sharp memory. You cannot expect every person to perform.
But even with that sharp memory, they were those people who are hungry. They already spotting differences.
Yes, there were people who were
because
doing
how
that,
Ramusipiri was
scrutinizing
going,
yes,
and then from there, and then Gomezulu came. There were a lot of things that changed there.
yes.
So now imagine Sbiya having now to change and adjust his way of defense to mnisa. It should be mnisi adjusting to Sbiya, to muzi. You know, you are expecting someone to read at least 600 pages a day.
Yes, 600
what the hell?
pages a day. That's what they're expecting him to
Crazy.
do. When can you do that? Can you read 600 pages a day? Can you do that?
No.
Think about it. Can you go? And I hear some of the people that are saying, no, but he should read only the stuff concerning accused number 1. Are you serious? This is the common cause. All of them are charged with the same charges. So you are saying that he should just only focus on things pertaining accused number 1. Oh, but it doesn't work like that in this case. It would only work like that if some of the charges were scrapped for accused number 1. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if they are all charged with the same charges, there's no way he can just, go and select accused number 1 and then read only the stuff pertaining to accused number 1. He cannot do that. It would not bring accused number 1 justice. The confessions are intertwining. A lot is happening. So there's no way he can do that. So the judge said that, what surprises me is that you started this case with Judge Maumela and you were continuously on this trial and you were aware of all the evidence that had been led. Mind you, Judge Maumela ungenapi because you said de novo when you sat on this case. Did he not?
He did.
He said it's de novo, right? So why now he's putting Judge Maumela as if what Judge Maumela means he will be reading what was happening in Judge Maumela's court. He's only reading what happened when you started presiding over the case. And he said he also bent backwards. I don't know what he meant by that. And he said that he allowed every advocate to cross-examine whomever. For instance, even advocates whose clients were not accused of having made confessions, they cross-examined. Of course they did, because the prosecutors have given them all the same charges. Why? I'm not a lawyer. But they had every right to cross-examine even the confessions. All of them are charged with murder. Are they not?
They are.
All of them are charged with possession of illegal firearm and ammunition. Are they not? All of them are charged with the attempted murder of Zandi Khumalo. Are they not? All of them are charged with those charges. It's not specific people who have specific charges amongst the 5 accused. So what must happen? They must just sit and relax because the confessions were not made by the other accused, even though they are put with the same charges. I don't understand. So Mr. Nxumalo cross-examined the late Mngome Zulu, cross-examined Mshololo, also cross-examined. And he said that because you as a group told me that you're defending these people as a group, and you yourself, Mr. Mnisi, you cross-examined every witness, even if that witness never referred to your client in evidence. I don't know what he expects Mr. Mnisi to do, because Mr. Mnisi's client, accused number 3, is the one who said the firearm belongs to them, right? So what he must do, he must just relax. He must just let everything. It's almost like he's insinuating that they should just sit and let the case fall apart, like what happened allegedly with Omotoso's case. Is that what he's insinuating? Like, what is going on? If I didn't know any better, I would say maybe he just wants the defense to just relax and not do their jobs. Allegedly. You know, it's funny, Mr. Anonymous. It's funny. Like, I'm like, what do you want them to do? Want them to not fight? Hmm? You know, and he said even Mr. Ramusipidi, he said I was reading the record and it's 60,000 pages, not 40,000. And he said that he's read all of it. Isn't he the one who was telling them throughout the case that he reads every weekend, every day he reads? Of course he's read the 60,000 if he's reading like that. Mr. Mnisi has been reading the record concerning his client, right? Accused number 3. He wasn't reading the record this entire time in consideration of accused number 1. He wasn't hired to represent accused number 1.
I think it's better for Umnisi to just leave this.
You think so?
And I think someone is mentioning it, and I believe that it's not feasible for someone to represent 2 of these accused and represent them fairly without compromising the other.
We saw how even Ramosipili was struggling at the beginning before Mgomezulu came. It wasn't nice. It was a lot. It was a lot. He would confuse accused number 1 with accused number. Do you guys remember that?
Okay, let's continue.
Well, he said that he read all of it and was aware of the evidence, and what he asked Mr. Mnisi what the problem was. And Mnisi said that when he took over representing Mr. Sbiya, it was not by virtue that he had been in court and had been listening to all the evidence. The court should also remember that in as much as he was here, his concentration and attention was on accused number 3. There are a lot of things that were said about accused number 1 which he didn't pay attention to because that was not within his domain to take issues on behalf of accused number 1, you know. And the judge said that Mnisi cross-examined on behalf of accused 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The same thing happened with Mr. Ramosipili and all the other defense attorneys, and nobody stopped him. Ramosipili said that he doesn't recall cross-examining on behalf of accused number 3, 4, and 5, which is true. Ramosipili really remains on his terrain. And his concentration at the beginning was in respect of accused number 1 and number 2. So when Mr. Mgomezulu took over representation of Mr. Sbiya, he then took over for Mr. Ntanzi, Mr. Ramosipili. He doesn't have mandate for all of them. Otherwise, he would be standing alone. And the judge said that Mnisi is abusing the system. He said, I think this is an abusage of the system. So Baloyi then said Mr. Mnisi had been requesting transcripts of proceedings of certain dates from time to time. So he confirmed that he could tell that Mr. Mnisi has been hard at work as far as perusal of the record is concerned. So Advocate Baloyi was vouching for a learned colleague here. It took me by surprise. So when a defense counsel passed on, it brings about delays, that's what he said, and it will serve no purpose as the state to say that they object to the request of counsel when counsel says that they are not ready. He said that they are mindful of the fact that he was given some time, but if he says he's not ready, then they're not in a position to object to the request of more time. And he also spoke on Brigadier Gininda that he had been on the witness box since November. It's now 6 months in the witness box. And he said that it's unfair on him, you know. His other professional duties are on hold, and it's in the interest of justice that at some point his cross-examination should be finalized. But balancing this chaos, they're not in a position to object to the request. It's safe to say that they also express their frustration. And he said that Mr. Musia was cross-examined for weeks and weeks. And the judge also spoke of the very same witness, and they were saying that he was in an accident or something like that. Akiri, he said he had an operation on his knee, or Mr. Musia. And he was on standby and not recording the distance, and he spoke as if those details of Mr. Musia not doing his job properly that the defense were cross-examining on didn't matter. And Baloyi also said that it's in the interest of justice that this matter has to continue. The deceased family, the society wants this matter at this point to be finalized, and they can only express their dismay, and they are able to, and they understand the predicament that Mr. Mnisi, as mentioned the last time, he finds himself in a very difficult position. All that they can do is to plead that the court should be inclined to grant the postponement, and they should continue with the matter. The date of the matter is postponed. So the judge talked about Section 35, and he said that it's not immutable. You can't abuse the system. I don't understand how Advocate Mnisi is now being accused of abusing the system when he's asking for more time to go through a lot of text. I don't understand, but then it is what it is in that courtroom, and then rely on the fact that the Constitution says that you have to have a fair trial. He said a fair trial says, he stated a case called State versus King, where they say that fairness must also be accorded to the state and state witnesses. Colonel Geninda, he has testified, he doesn't know for how long it must end. Of course, Judge Ratam Khwatleng will speak for the state, and he further said that no judge in South Africa would have granted Mr. Mnisi time to go through the record, but he did. What does he mean by this? Do you think there's no judge who would have granted Mnisi time to go through the record?
I don't think so.
So they would have just said, oh, you've been here all along. Go and draft cross-examination for accused number 1. Is that what he's saying?
I think so.
He said he gave him 2 months and 3 weeks, even though he did not know how long he wanted. Let us be honest. Mnisi said that he didn't know how long he was going to take for him to go through that text. That was his initial... he had no way of determining that. And I don't blame him. When you receive a module, when you receive things to read, you don't know how long you're going to go through that text. You don't know. You can't predict. You can't say, oh, I'll be able to read 500 pages a day. You can't do that. Or am I wrong?
You're not long. Let's continue.
Even though he fought with him, Mr. Baloyi and Sibanda gave other cases and they had to attend to them. And the judge asked him how he prepared criminal cases. And he said, through shade, of course, they're saying that there's nothing mysterious about murder. And he's not talking because he doesn't have experience. He said he used to defend so-called freedom fighters of the PAC. And he said he knows marathon cases. He attended several. He even did cases for people that were involved in high-ranking police officials. I'm assuming he's talking about Richard Mdluli's case, in my opinion. And he was saying that this is real abuse that Mnisi was doing. And people who are seeing this are thinking that he's too lenient and he enjoys doing this case. Everybody was here in Mr. Maumela except himself. The judge said that it surprised him that an experienced advocate like Advocate Charles Mnisi couldn't read 40,000 pages in 2 months. He said it surprises him. And he said this is the final postponement. If he's not ready, then the client will have to intercede on his behalf, meaning that accused number 1 will have to say what he wants moving forward. And he said he can only give him up until next week, Tuesday. This is after the holidays. If the court says that he must be ready next week, Mr. Mnisi said that he will be excused from representing accused number 1 because he can't do that. He's already saying that, you know what, next week if you're going to pressurize me like that, might as well just excuse myself. And I think maybe he should. That's my opinion. Well, the judge said that Mnisi has had more than enough time. 2 months and 3 weeks, that is what they accorded him. And he repeated again, he's been in this trial since Maumela, and that's why he was told that they were cross-examining across the board, all of them. Even when their clients were not involved in the confessions, all of them cross-examined, and they were charged with common purpose. So they are entitled to cross-examine on each and every aspect. Yeah, we'll see next week, Tuesday, what decision Mr. Mnisi will take moving forward. But the pressure is getting worse. It's impractical, honestly, to go through 600 pages a day. It requires some kind of skim reading, some kind of, I heard somebody saying that they have been taught in law school reading techniques.
I don't know. I don't want to know whether you are taught, whether you're not taught. Either way, your brain determines how you read, whether you are taught or not taught. I can be better than them, maybe not.
Some were even recommending maybe he should ask ChatGPT. Hey guys, there are lawyers who got in trouble for using ChatGPT. There are lawyers who got in trouble for it. I remember reading something about it, and they were saying no, it misquoted some of the laws, and they were able to pick up that they used ChatGPT, and they confessed after they were caught that they used ChatGPT to draft their case, and that's not right. So no, he can't use ChatGPT. It's not reliable when it comes to law.
No, guys, Kabanguchi, this is the end for me. And tomorrow I have an early office.
All right, guys.
Thank you very much for your time, and we appreciate you. We hope you're going to be here tomorrow. And please subscribe. Please press that like button. And I hope that everything is going to go smooth from now on.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. And until the next one, it's a bye from me. And hopefully we'll see you next time.